It's been a long time since we've done a conspiracy theory video, and I done came across some good ones. Let's watch.
Let me be crystal clear. Every single dinosaur skeleton you see in a museum is fake. What they show you are casts and models, not real bones, the original bones. The remains of a certain flying beast that's been documented all throughout history, mentioned by every single ancient culture. Yeah, nigga, dragons. The bones from previous resets and catastrophes and whatever other genetic monstrosities the civilization before us created in their eugenics labs are locked away, unavailable for independent research. Shocking, I know.
Didn't call them dinosaur, they called them dragon. The word dinosaur wasn't made up till 1841. It's a brand new word in the dictionary. I got some old dictionaries and looked for the word dinosaur. Even in 1891, the word was not in the dictionary. They called them dragons. The Bible mentions dragons 34 times.
Dinosaurs were invented during the 19th century, at the same time that Darwinism was being promoted as the new account of life on Earth. The coincidence was deliberate, because the creation of enormous reptiles from the imagined ages before mankind gave dramatic form to the theory of evolution. Without dinosaurs, the public would have struggled to imagine millions of years filled with anything meaningful.
I love stuff like this. I love stuff like this. This is stuff I live for. But that makes sense. What if there wasn't any actual dinosaurs? Because just like they said, all of the ancient civilizations all depicted that there was once dragons, and they depicted the same sort of creatures, right? It would make more sense that they would try to conceal this information from us, but at the same time know that we are consuming information about dragons as if dragons are mythical creatures that never existed. It's like that. Maybe that's what they wanted us to believe, when in hindsight they were actually real. Oh, man, hold on. I can go down a rabbit hole with this one. I'll save it though for another time.
Trump's ballroom.
Dude, I've heard some conspiracies about this.
Yeah, and the kicker, Trump is not using taxpayer money.
Oh.
He has some donors.
Boom.
You ready for these donors?
Yes.
Google, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Lockheed Martin, Palantir,
Typical.
T-Mobile.
One of these
Sponsored
things
by
is not
T-Mobile.
like the other. Yeah.
Here's where it gets weird. Now it's going to be over $300 million for this 90,000 square foot ballroom. $3,330 a square foot. Way outside the standard of what you pay per square foot for a building.
So what are they spending so much money on?
A theory is that they're building an underground database center.
Yeah, there you go.
A couple years ago, Israel built a underground data center. They paid $319 million for this.
That's got to be it.
So this ballroom is costing about the same
Yeah.
as what this data center costs in
But
Jerusalem.
not nearly as big.
Well, that's just the surface.
Yeah.
Because they're just building a ballroom.
Yeah.
But what's going to be underneath?
And why are all these people interested in
And
investing in it?
They would all invest
Yeah.
because they don't want to be excluded.
Oh my gosh, bro.
In 2008, when everyone was telling me to get rid of my MySpace and to get a Facebook, I was right. I should have stuck with MySpace.
Who made MySpace?
Tom.
Tom.
The legend.
You don't know Tom?
MySpace Tom?
I didn't have a MySpace.
No.
Do you know how young I am?
I don't know how old I am.
She said, "You know how young I am? I honestly thought she was the same age as all the guys in the room." But yeah, I guess she's not. They're doing this. They're building underground bunkers. I mean, there's a lot that they're doing behind our backs. But I'm glad that we are woke enough, or aware enough, I should say, that we're paying attention to certain stuff. And a lot of what they think they're doing behind our backs, we know that they're doing. But they just gonna be like, oh, that's just conspiracy. Yeah, right.
If this is true, this changes everything that we thought we knew or were told by the education system and the establishment. And if they're hiding this changes everything.
In 2016, a group of independent researchers gathered at a salt flat in Bolivia, one of the flattest surfaces on Earth. Their mission, to test something that's rarely questioned, but absolutely foundational. How far can you see before the curve takes it all away? According to the globe model, Earth curves at 8 inches per mile squared. That means objects should disappear from view beyond a certain distance, hidden by the curve. So they set out with lasers, high zoom cameras, and infrared tech. Their goal wasn't to prove anything, just to measure how far light and sight could travel in open, uninterrupted space. They placed a laser just 3 feet above the surface. According to globe math, it should have been invisible beyond 6 miles, but the beam remained visible at 10 miles, then 15, then over 20. No curvature blocked it. Next, they filmed distant buildings, boats, and islands across large lakes, sometimes 30, 40, even 100 miles away. According to the globe model, these objects should have been hidden behind hundreds of feet of Earth's curve. But the entire structure, base to top, remained visible. No atmospheric bending, no magic refraction, just direct line of sight. And then came the most damning test of all. 2 flags were set up miles apart on a frozen lake, with a third person holding a camera at the same height in the middle. If Earth was curved, the middle flag should have appeared higher due to the curve. But all 3 lined up perfectly, dead flat.
Okay, so forget the debate for a second. Just know that this happened. So what do we do with this information? It's flat. They proved it. There should be this curvature that there's not. Now, here's the question. Is it that there's like less curvature than they say, but it really is curved, but like not as curvy as we were told? Or is it like there's no curve, it's completely flat? If that's the case, what the Sam Dam are we on right now if it's not a freaking marble flying around in space? That is the question you want to be asking. And if it is flat, why would they hide it from us? I can tell you the going theory is it's easier to convince people that we're from a evolution than there was an explosion called the Big Bang and we grew from a fish and we turned into humans over billions and billions of years. It's easier to convince people that it's a random chance if we're this ball in space and there's a trillion odds that you even become a planet in the first place. Whereas if you're on it, something that's flat and it's not in space and it changes everything, it's more easy to believe and understand that we were created, not the result of a random chance. So that's the going theory with why they would hide this from us. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
I'm going to go ahead and say this now. This video is probably made by a flat earther. Yo, there's a possibility that the earth is flat. This has me thinking about something. I was on a plane recently. I was coming back from Chicago, and on the train ride at the airport going to baggage claim, there was like 5 pilots. 5 pilots when I stepped on there. They were the only ones on there. Next time something like that happens, I'm going to be bold enough to ask the pilot. I'm like, hey, Mr. Pilot, sir, do you think the earth is flat? You would know, maybe. You would, because y'all be up there. Do y'all see a curve or do y'all just see straight? I'm very curious to hear from a pilot. I don't even trust the pilots that be in my comments no more. I don't even know if they be real pilots. I need some verification. Did this man figure out how to do 0 gravity outside somehow? What did we just... Y'all gonna have to go back and rewatch that one. That was crazy. I don't know what the heck maybe he did something. Maybe he jumped in the air and because he was moving stuff slowly out the way. I don't know what that was. I ain't seen no strings neither.
Open. Yes, very weird. No moving parts, no parts at all. And open. That's really hard to understand. Okay, go ahead. So you draw along the white line, and that turns it off. And then you press in the middle, and that turns it on. Do it again. And on. Amazing.
But that's the thing, though. Him doing that didn't turn off the waterfall. It might have interrupted it and slowed it down a bit, but it didn't turn it off. That water was still free flowing. But I wish he would have waited a bit longer in the off mode to see if the water was going to actually stop flowing for us to really believe that he was turning the water off by just rubbing his hand across that waterfall, rubbing his finger, I should say.
If the average consumer knew what this ingredient was that's in 95% of processed foods, they would not be eating it. Wait until you hear this. So to clarify, it's not that there's actual cells from a you-know-what in the food. It's that in like the 60s, they got you-know-what, took the cells from that, and then replicated it, like they're growing them in some type of petri dish or on some grand scale. And somehow the cells replicated from an aborted you-know-what are flavor enhancers, type of ritual. Like, who thinks of that? What sane person with morals would go, you know what? We could duplicate the cells from an aborted you-know-what and then put that in the food. This is absolutely insane, and it is true. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more. Now, really, I see this as like the black magic part of processed foods that's toxic for you, but there's many other more kind of physical things that also are unfortunate, like the genetically modified stuff, the pesticides, the glyphosate, the microplastics, the phthalates, and all these crazy chemicals that are in the food, air, and water supply now. In fact, they say 90% of us have glyphosate and atrazine in our bloodstream. And those disrupt fertility, hormones, brain function, and a lot more.
It's crazy that I'm seeing this video now because I was literally telling myself yesterday how I need to detox. I need to detox from all this stuff, and I also need to do a worm detox. But I'm terrified because I heard some news information yesterday that if a worm bursts or it dies in your system, it releases toxins that can be extremely harmful to you. And I just... And I had a friend that did a worm detox recently, and man, it made her so sick, like unbearably, unbelievably sick. But she also didn't do a binder, which she learned her lesson from. It's just so much to it. I was like, if I do this, I need to make sure that I don't have anything else going on in my life. I need to just go through this process. And if it takes me out for a few days or a week, that I'm good for that week. I'm good to just why they have to do us like this? Why leave us alone? Let us live.
There's like a conspiracy with Bass Pro and how they've become this huge, massive conglomerate. And I genuinely like going to a Bass Pro. But I got super ticked off when I realized how much assistance the U.S. government has provided to Bass Pro and Cabela's. Starting in the early 2000s, they have been given approximately $2 billion.
What?
They say it creates jobs, but the fact is it doesn't add up. You get people who are visiting from out of town, but all the mom and pops have gone away. And so when you look at how it's actually playing out, go to Bass Pro, how many people are actually working the register? There's like 2.
Yeah.
How many work the register in a mom and pop? 2. Mom and pop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, this is how they did it. When Bass Pro Shop started, it was a liquor store. And then the dude started selling tackle out of his dad's liquor store. And just one thing led to another, and he started this business. Awesome, cool. Well, he began wanting this immersive, like, get to experience the outdoors. Well, it turns out they have gotten grants because they call themselves museums.
Taxidermy and stuff?
They're preservations of history. And they've literally played this game to the tune of $2 billion.
That's a lot of money, dude.
That's clever, everybody.
You know where my brain went with that is that the interest in getting rid of all these small town bait and tackle, and because they would obviously sell ammunition and stuff there too. So if you get rid of a place in your small town to where people can rely on to go in case something happens, in case they need stuff to survive, and it's all combined under now a U.S. government funded bait and tackle shop.
If they were doing that, though, they would want to control all of like mass production food too, which they're not doing.
Yeah.
So if the government like wanted to like one day just like say, you know, we're in control of everything.
Yeah.
You have to listen to us, and they just shut everything off. It would just be Bass Pros and stuff, like probably because they're definitely not touching any of our food or pharmacies, you know, like our medications.
You're right. That was dumb of me to
Gas.
say.
I mean, we have
our
we have our
bank
own gas.
system.
We make our own gas here.
Yeah.
Wrong. The government screwed us over.
I never in my life thought I would think that there would be some major conspiracy theory behind Bass Pro Shop. Yo, wait a minute. Calling themselves a museum so that they can get $2 billion from the government? Because for real, how do they stay open? Like, because who be shopping in there like that? I always thought about that. I was like, who shops at big old Bass Pro Shop like that? Because we have one here. It said the only one I can think of is like it's Sugarloaf Mall. I don't know where there's another one. There might be. I don't know. But the handful of times that I've gone in there, it's only like a couple of people that work in there in that big old store. And like they said, it might be like 2 people at the register. But they got to be making some money though. Outside of the $2 billion that they're getting from the government.
A human didn't shoot him. You know what shot him? A drone. There's a muzzle flash behind him. There's a video of it. You see the muzzle flash, but where it's positioned, it's an event, which no human being can be up there. So he's a patsy. They put him.
Let's start over. Let's start this clip over.
A human didn't shoot him. You know what shot him? A drone. There's a muzzle flash behind him. There's a video of it. You see the muzzle flash, but where it's positioned, it's an event, which no human being can be up there. So he's a patsy. They put him up to it. They probably said, hey, we're going to kill everybody you know if you don't get up there right now. And I can tell you about his background and why they coerced him to do it, the CIA. But meanwhile, while they were looking for somebody on the roof and whatnot, because they wanted Patsy to run along, and people like, there he is, right? Meanwhile, the shot didn't come from the front, it came from the back. That is an exit wound. So he hit him from here and it came out into exit wound. So there's military experts like snipers who did a whole assessment saying, I know what a shot looks like. That's an exit wound.
Yes. Yeah, because the blood shoots out.
It shoots out.
Instead of like tucking in and then starting to spread afterwards.
Right. So I think he got shot by a drone. He was a patsy because you're not even expecting that. You're not even looking up. You're like, wait, a drone shot him? Because you're not even looking for that. You're looking for a shooter. That's the perfect story. So how is it that this kid with a lazy eye, who's not even a sniper, and he has one perfect shot? You have one shot. And then he gets up there, changes his clothes, takes the shot, changes his clothes again, disassembles the rifle.
Impossible.
Wow. Puts the rifle back together and throws it in a bush.
You saw what Candace said, right?
Yeah, it's completely bullshit.
She said that the dad said he never turned him in to the police. So that was a lie. What was the other one?
Well, the fact that going back to his history too. So he went to Utah State University. That actually has a program where the CIA has created a program called CAI. It's the Central Anticipatory Intelligence. They recruit there. And this kid gets a scholarship because he's super smart, 4.0 GPA, goes to the school and then drops out after one semester. That's because they recruited him. What sense does that make, right? So, and then mind you, the person who set up this whole program is a former CIA directorate. You mean to tell me this kid went to a school who has a CIA program, drops out after one semester, goes dark, and then pops back up and kills Charlie Kirk?
Perfect shooter, as always.
Ooh, very, very interesting theory, man. Very interesting theory. And he didn't speak on it as if it was a theory. He spoke on it as if it was a matter of fact. This kid was a part of an in-school organization to be recruited by the CIA. And this is something that I said from the beginning. Like 30 minutes after Charlie was hit, I said they're going to pin this on some young man that didn't do it. They're either going to frame this young man or this young man was in on it. They're going to use his parents to be in on it as well, to tell a story that is a complete lie. All of which is theories. Because the official narrative could be just that. The official narrative. It could be true. But not in my conspiracy brain. No, it's not. This is what I'm leaning towards believing. What we just watched here. What do you guys think? Comment down below.
Have you looked into Erica Kirk at all? I have. It's very interesting. So a lot of people aren't trusting her. She won a pageant back in 2012. She was Miss Arizona. And it's pretty interesting that pageant, who owned it? Trump did. So she knew Trump way before Charlie Kirk. Okay, you could say that's a coincidence. But she started a charity when she was 17, working with military officials, did missions in Romania. And people were saying that the whole mission was linked to trafficking. Also, if you look into her parents, her mom, Lori, has a multitude of companies, and one of them being E3. And E3 Tech Group, actually, they specialize in EMPs. Tell me why she did secret missions with the government in Iraq. And then her father as well wrote books for government, strategic plans. He has a book called Business Intelligence for Government Officials. All these different things in the government have heavy, heavy ties. So again, I think that they have more ties than what they're putting on to.
That's crazy. That was supposed to be Charlie Kirk's wife. and her family has those sort of ties to the government, and she herself was a beauty pageant winner. Shout out to Charlie Kirk, I guess. He married himself a beauty pageant girl. But still, like, whoa, I didn't know any of that stuff. Man, this stuff, it don't be coincidence. Trust me when I tell you.
What you are witnessing here is going viral because it debunks the official story of what the Canada Food Inspection Agency said as to the reason why they need to unalive 100+ ostriches. Listen to this freaking story. A year ago, they said, one of your birds tested positive. We have to call the whole herd. They said, no. There was a big fight. The government got involved. They sent in police, blah, 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 broke it up. And they took these freaking ostriches down the road, built a hay bale prison for them, and then stood on the hay bales shooting down at them to unalive one by one, picking them off. But here's the crazy part. If they were concerned that these birds had some ailment, the bird flu that could spread all over the place, it's been 2 days that these birds have been laying in an open field. For wildlife to come and scavenge and spread this ailment around? Now keep in mind, these birds did not test positive. One tested positive a year ago. These birds were perfectly healthy. This shows you how much they really care. What is really going on behind the scenes? Is it about controlling the food supply, controlling agriculture, controlling livestock? You know they want all that top-down controlled by basically AI at some point, so it makes sense to chip away at people's rights to have their own creatures under a bogus test. By the way, British Columbia is the same place, at least in Kelowna, that they make you cut your apple trees down unless you spray them with pesticides. You got two options. If you have an apple tree on your land, you either spray it with pesticides, you have to, and it's got to be registered, or they cut it down. They say it's to protect all the other apple trees and fruit trees in the region, but that's kind of like, if all the other trees are sprayed with pesticides, shouldn't they be protected? That reminds me of, mine doesn't work unless you have yours. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more. Now, this is just one example of the elements of control that they like to exert over us. They need us in a lowered state of consciousness to reach their end goals, which come a little ways past 2030. That's why there's so many chemicals in the food, air, and water supply. They need us in a lowered state of consciousness. It's how it works. It's about your consciousness.
What sense does that make? It makes so much more sense for them to take these harmless ostriches and test them than to put them in the field and shoot them all based off a ostrich that y'all tested positive for something a year ago. Y'all know darn well that that wasn't the reason y'all shot them ostriches, because if it was, y'all wouldn't have left them in that field for 2 days or however long they were left there for other woodland animals or creatures to come out there, feed on them, and then spread this disease that y'all proclaiming that they have. Ooh, don't be stupid, because that's what they want. They want us to be stupid. They really planning something, I swear.
It's very strange. All these men that were the inventors of the rockets and stuff, they're all very, very into the occult. And so one guy, Jack Parsons, who is called America's rocket godfather, basically he's the one that started the rocket program in the United States. He was part of this organization called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. He was basically underneath Aleister Crowley.
No way.
He had his own chapter in California. So Aleister Crowley, he joined the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, where he was trained in ceremonial magic. But this guy, Jack Parsons, he said that through the ceremonial magic and whatnot, him, just like others, like the Nazi Party, these Russian engineers, they all received this information about going to space and going to the stars from different entities.
Oh, come on.
They said it was never our knowledge. It was gifted to us. They called them like downloads and stuff. That was just a weird thing to me, this connection of like pretty much the same exact time all over the world, these engineers were receiving these revelations from entities being like, You have to conquer space, conquer the stars. This is how you're going to do it. And they all built these rockets around the same time. It's crazy to me. I also discovered that Buzz Aldrin, along with a ton of astronauts, a ton of NASA directors, were all 33-degree Freemasons. And Buzz Aldrin, when he landed on the moon, with him, one of his belongings that he brought was a tiny little silk flag that was from the Freemason Scottish Rite movement, the 33-degree Masons. Super weird.
What are we doing?
Really weird thing. One of these test pads where they tested the Apollo missions was test pad number 33, and there's only one runway at NASA. Only one runway. It's not runway 1, not runway A. It's runway 33.
Why?
Super weird.
I don't get it, man. This is just beyond me. I hate it.
Oh boy, there at the end said he don't get it and that he hate it. I love it. I love it. Because this way I feel like it makes it easier for us to kind of track what they're doing. If they're all a part of this same organization and they're using these symbols and stuff for their missions, it makes it that much easier for us to track what they're doing. Otherwise, everything would have been as it was supposed to be. Like you get hired by NASA and then you go to space and like da. But no, Buzz Aldrin said that they ain't never even been up there. They ain't even touched that moon. But hell, he's a Freemason, ain't he? I mean, maybe he lying about that too. Maybe they did go to the moon. Nah, I don't think they'll lie about that and then backtrack. Nah, I don't know.
CIA had a program called Project Pegasus.
Did this have anything to do with QTEL? Basically, they fund all the technology for CIA.
DARPA.
Yeah.
Basically, think of it like this. DARPA is an arm of the government that is the sword and the shield. So they create military weapons, defense systems, also a lot of offensive systems and whatnot. In Marvel, they have something called SHIELD. It's like CIA with DARPA mixed in, and the NSA as well. They have no governance. They work outside of presidents and Congress. They pretty much approve anything they want. They have something called the black budget, where they have unlimited funding to where they can pretty much, hey, we want to fund this. We don't have to listen to Congress. We don't have to listen to the president.
That's who the government really is.
the real
Not this
government.
puppet show.
Tesla. They had all his works, and when he died, they probably killed him.
Definitely.
Took all his works. Then his family wanted all his works and say, hey, we own all that work. We're, next of kin. Mm-hmm. He had 80 boxes. They give 60 boxes back. So where are those other 20 boxes? In those works, they found something to where he basically discovered time travel and teleportation. They're all one and the same, because if you can teleport, in theory, you can go from different times in space and time. They found out that the younger you are, the more flexible your mind is.
Gate program.
Exactly. This is why they had the gate program in school.
Wow. That's why there's an attack on the family, right? Because if you have the broken family, there's no solid ground, right? No deciphering.
They were sending kids back in time. The one kid, this is all documented, he goes to the Gettysburg Address to see Lincoln speak. He noticed a flash when he was there. Somebody took his picture. Now, a historian goes to the archives, back to the Gettysburg Address, and looks for this same kid, and he is there at the Gettysburg Address because he has a 70s haircut.
No way.
Yes.
So crazy.
Oversized boots. He was alone in the picture. They were like, who is this kid with a 70s haircut? Turns out it was him. And then not only that, they sent kids back in time to the same place multiple times, and they were running into themselves. But they were told by the CIA, hey, don't touch yourself because it'll cause a paradox.
Little Back to the Future. It's always in the movies.
It's always in the movies.
Remember those videos or those pictures that came out? The dude with the iPhone. Was it a video?
Was there?
I've seen a lady with a phone.
With the
I
phone.
saw that one.
Yeah. So it was a lady, but also that picture, he looked like a Gen Z guy.
Yeah, he did.
So if time travel ever existed, it's always existed. Because people are like, oh, time travel can't be possible. Well, maybe one day it will be. Well, that's the case. It already does exist.
Hey, I love hearing new stories about time travel that I haven't heard before with evidence to back it. That whole thing about the kids and them sending the kids back in time, and there's this image of this kid, and he was like, I recall there being a flash going off and somebody potentially taking my picture, and then for them to go into the archives, find the picture, and find him. Like, what? Time travel, man. I believe it. I believe it to be real. I always have. What do y'all believe? Comment down below. This video is getting better and better the deeper we get, and we're only halfway through. Hope y'all are here for a long time and a good time. Let's continue.
I don't know if you guys heard much about Thailand and what their ancient history that they all believe, what creatures lived there, how big they were. Check this out, and then we have a lot to discuss.
Watching to the end, what type of creature is this?
What's he saying? Wait a minute. If you think that looks like what you think it looks like, wait until you see this. This is Naka Cave in Thailand, which they call like ancient snake, or as you can see why they would be calling it that. Now, of course, wind must have done this. Wait till I show you the next picture. But wind must have done this, and water and erosion over billions of years, right? What about this one? Because that looks like scales, but this isn't even the craziest picture yet. This is a real rock. It is not AI. It's at the park where tourists come and take pictures at Naka Cave. What the Sam Dam does that look like? And it'd be one thing if like there was a rock that kind of looked like it had scales, but it's very strange that it's so curved as well. I know, right? Erosion. Well, people say the same thing, erosion, about Devil's Tower, which we know, I don't know if that was from erosion. So the question is, ancient snakes that turned to stone? Like, you don't know, man. Giants existed. Titans existed, which are like giants. So who's to say there weren't giant snakes? But the question is, why didn't it decompose? Why did it turn? Why did it petrify? How did that happen? Like, there's something we don't quite understand here. Is it like Medusa? If you look at Medusa, you turn to stone. Was there some type of thing we don't know? That was a technology or some type of power that froze this snake? Like maybe a guy like defeated this snake, this giant evil snake. Maybe he defeated it with some spell. Come on. Now, the one thing about the ancients, seemingly almost all of them had their pineal glands fully activated, and they were much more capable mentally and spiritually than today when we're chugging fluoride and eating GMOs. It's shocking.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, wait a minute. There would be some decomposition of these remains if these were indeed some like giant snakes or lizards of some sort, but that's not the case. Something petrified them. Somehow they're petrified. How? Think about this. Here's the theory that I'm coming up with right now. Someone or something petrified these giant creatures. These creatures over time became part of the earth because the earth grew around them. And because of earthquakes and maybe because of weather, that the earth kind of broke away from them at some point, and started to reveal like the head that we saw, like what looks like it was the curvature of the snake's body. And because they're petrified and almost stone-like themselves, it's hard to tell if they're actual snakes, lizards, or it could have just been pareidolia, where we're looking at these rock formations and we're seeing similarities when it comes to lizards without any definitive evidence. This is all just speculations.
If this is true, because we know geology, there's a little bit of tomfoolery going on with it, then I don't know what to say other than our world is very different than we may have thought. Check this out.
We are but the ants, walking on the literal remains of a much larger past. And when your eyes are open to that truth, this world's beauty truly becomes that much more unimaginable. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
What the Sam Dam is this? So hold on. We got Devil's Tower, which looks like a giant tree stump, ancient tree stump. We got Naka Cave in Thailand that looks like giant petrified snakes. But again, mainstream geology says Devil's Tower was from erosion and wind, and Naka Cave is from erosion and wind. So they probably say the same about this. It's erosion and wind and some mineral. However, we know Devil's Tower, with the ground proximity radar and the LiDAR they did to it, it's a freaking ancient tree stump. But the mainstream geology won't budge. They say, no, it absolutely is wind and erosion. So if they're lying about that, then they're likely going to be lying about this formation too. And then, furthermore, what was this thing? Are we talking giants? Are we talking titans? Was this a snake? I don't know, man. But it probably is not wind and erosion. Now, I will say it's good to know ancient stuff like this, Devil's Tower, like it's cool to know. But we got to focus also on the fact that right now, 90% of us have glyphosate and atrazine in our bloodstream, which is these toxic chemicals they're spraying all over the place that cause infertility and damage our brain function and our pineal glands.
And initially, I thought maybe there was a giant lizard of some sort that maybe laid there at one point in history and became petrified. Or I don't know if I would say a giant human, because those pores are crazy big. Like, how big of a human do you have to be? I would rather go with a lizard of some sort, especially with the shapes that we were seeing. I don't know, man. I want to go there. I didn't even know that place exists, but the way it looks, that just looked cool, man. It didn't look like a desert. There was white and red and just clay. And look at this image, man. Like, whatever that is, I want to go. I didn't even know this place exists.
What if I told you Avatar wasn't just a movie, but a documentary, and wasn't about natives, but about something else? Listen to this, and we have a lot to discuss.
Avatar was not only a movie, there was a story about how they destroyed one of the biggest trees that had belonged to this realm. And this is exactly why we see so many rocks that look like tree stumps. It's because they actually were. Look at this one from 1899. And there are so many more that I can get you the picture of. But the point is that Avatar was not just a film, it was a story, and they throw it in our faces. And even in the Bible, Daniel, he talks about trees going up to the heavens, the firmament. If you really think these rocks were just rocks, need to think again. Maybe this is another reason they don't allow us to explore the North Pole.
I'm just gonna say it. If you have logic and common sense, you know that Devil's Tower is not the result of the random chance of magma hardening in perfect hexagonal structures. Devil's Tower was an ancient tree. Tabletop mountains are ancient tree stumps. What the Sam damn else have we been lied to about in this reality? And if they were giant trees, which they were, who cut them down? How did they get cut down so flatly? Did they use a steel chainsaw, diamond bladed? I mean, come on. The story I heard in the book of Enoch is that there were giants on earth. They were cannibalistic and evil. So God wanted to flood the earth, but he knew if he flooded the earth, the giants will just climb these giant trees and survive the flood. So he sent angels down to cut down the trees before he flooded the earth. It's either that, or we came from a giant explosion called the Big Bang, and random rocks formed perfect flat surfaces naturally from erosion. Which one's more of a stretch to you, do you think? Devil's Tower, come on, man, evidence right in your face.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely a strong believer that those big old rock formations that look like past tree stumps are just that, actual tree stumps. Those trees must have reached to the heavens or had some sort of incredible healing ability, because why did they cut them down? And hell, that's what it was in the Avatar movie. Those trees were powerful. They had like healing abilities. It was just that. And maybe those trees, when they once existed on this planet, also had those abilities, and they were scattered across the world. It's like every nation, every continent had a healing tree like that. But then they got rid of them.
But these like billionaire dudes, they're on a whole different level. They're hunting all kind of stuff. There's even like stories of like billionaires hunting people.
There's the island story.
Yeah. They'll hire homeless people or different people from all around the world who need money. And like, hey, you survive, you get $100,000.
Squid Games?
Yeah. You don't think they do that?
I do think
For sure.
For sure, they have.
These people have a bloodlust. Okay, I've conquered the earth. What else can I conquer?
Right.
People. And there's many stories of that, like where they're just picking people up, people disappearing.
There are a lot of people are disappearing.
A lot.
Haven't met somebody that I know disappeared yet.
Let's never hope that happens.
Yeah.
Because like we have the most missing people and kids more than anybody else.
Yeah,
that's
which
weird.
is crazy.
United States?
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know how many kids went missing during the Biden administration? 400,000 in 1 year. What do you think the immigration was really about? Because you got all these people undocumented coming over for what? Oh, okay, let's let them all in. Unaccounted for. So we can have them do what? Slave labor, we can traffic them, we can do whatever we want. And nobody's looking for them. Who's looking for them?
Oh, man. Do you know anything about...
Bro, I'm about to say something extremely controversial based on what they just said. If what they just said holds any merit, any truth, illegal immigrants almost should think of it like, you know what, maybe we should get our citizenships, or maybe we shouldn't even come to this country because they're out to kidnap our children. We're here illegally, undocumented. Who's going to know? Who's going to care? Nah, that doesn't... What? America's an evil place. It's a really evil place. I'm more convinced each day.
Imagine this. One of the world's most famous paintings, The Virgin and Child by Leonardo da Vinci, might contain a hidden message. Not just a religious scene, but something much bigger. Some researchers claim that Leonardo embedded the image of an extraterrestrial being within the shadows and shapes of the painting. A creature you can only see if you look very closely, or maybe one that was never meant to be seen at all. Because Leonardo wasn't just an artist, he was a visionary, a thinker, obsessed with the hidden and the mystical. Did he leave behind a secret that's only being uncovered now? And if so, what was he trying to tell us?
That definitely could have been some pareidolia, or that could have been some sort of evil imagery that Leonardo painted in that painting. I don't know what to think. I've never seen that painting before. I never got the context or heard the story about this. So I can't really make too many assumptions without enough information. If y'all got some information that I don't know, please share down below, because I want to hear it.
Someone was messing around on Google Maps and zoomed into Sudan. This is now going absolutely viral on Twitter. Look what they found from these satellite images. And it's as bad as you think it is. Reports are saying there's a Shmenashmide going on in Sudan. What does that look like? Not cattle. And apparently it has something to do with the United Arab Emirates, which is funding a certain organization, which they are trying to seemingly cause some type of disturbance in Sudan because there's a bunch of oil and gold there. Now, what people have done is they've marked all these different areas on Google Maps and said, free Sudan. Sudan, you know, there's all types of people are putting their own waypoints on the map at different sites of these type of horrific activities and are titling it something different, like Free Sudan or, you know, Sudan, Help Sudan, blah, blah, blah. So this is something we've heard nothing about in the media. Absolutely nothing. I'm sure something's going to come out about it now because the silence is deafening. Everyone's talking about this right now. These sites of what appear to be the worst that you can think of. You know, it's crazy because I'm pretty sure Gaddafi in Libya there had a big plan for North Africa to make it prosperous, healthy, lots of water, lots of food. But that was kiboshed by, well, let's just say there's an agenda to put the squeeze on people, man. Absolutely shocking. My thoughts and prayers go out to the innocent people of Sudan.
Look, whoo, that is deep. That is deep. I don't know how true of an image that was. Man, I would say that I hope that it's not real. But if y'all only knew some of the heinous acts that was going on over there right now, you can't even put it past it not being real, honestly. Man, this world can be a very cruel place. I don't like it. Not one bit.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society. It's so secret we can't talk about it. What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322? You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, a secret number? There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better job, and I intend to do it.
Tim Russert, the moderator of Meet the Press and NBC's Washington bureau chief, collapsed and died early this afternoon.
See, man, you can't make these folks that's a part of these secret societies uncomfortable by bringing up topics nationally, live for people to see, or publicly for people to see, and think it's okay. They might laugh in your face in the moment, but they gonna quickly, like you just saw these two did, try to divert from the conversation. And then when they are no longer in front of you, oh, they gonna have some discussions about you and what should be done. He passed away in 2008, and I'm pretty sure it was before he should had. You know, what was the reason? I have no idea. What I think the reason was, we all have the same idea.
I also found out that it's incredibly illegal, extremely illegal, to go on television and say something like the best place to fire a mortar launcher at the White House would be from the roof of the Rockefeller Hewitt building because of minimal security and you'd have a clear line of sight to the president's bedroom. Insanely illegal. Ridiculously, recklessly, insanely illegal. Yet even more illegal to show an illustrated diagram. Insanely illegal, ridiculously, horribly felonious, because they will come to your house in the middle of the night and they will lock you up. Extremely against the law. One thing that is technically legal to say is that we have a group that meets Fridays at midnight under the Brooklyn Bridge, and the password is 6 Semper Tyrannis.
So if you make a tensor ring out of copper, it also generates another field, right? That's how the pyramids work too. I can feel it on my whole helmet. That's crazy. That's what can tie me.
I don't think he had any sort of electrical current that was running through that helmet. I feel like if he did, that would have been extremely dangerous, even if it was just a battery. Man, I don't know what he had going on, but I'm fascinated. I want to know more.
Breaking news, Heidi Klum, I don't even know who that is. Kardashian dressed up as a freaking albino reptile there the other day. Remember that? I will say I rebuke this in the name of Jesus. Because this is darkness. This is what they focus on. And look, Butterfinger freaking sponsoring this. What a joke. It's all a freaking joke. It's like Hunger Games, man. People spend thousands and thousands of dollars dressing up like a fucking reptile. There's other people who don't even know how to eat, drink water. There's no food. I mean, come on. Let me know your thoughts. I think this is overdone, but I know it's like Halloween, right? People don't do shit for Christmas. They might put up one little string of lights, but come Halloween, it's like they're focused on making their yard. All the freaking demons come out in the yard. They got skeletons all over the place. Halloween, man, some people take it a little too serious.
This fool called her Heidi Klum's. It's Heidi Klum, sir. Gosh, but that costume was crazy. I couldn't help but have this overwhelming feeling that that costume was modeled after a real creature that they might know of. Because, hell, I mean, there are people that have really creative minds, but if your mind is creative enough to be able to create something like that, I don't want no part of it. I can't trust you. I don't even know. I don't need to know nothing about you other than stay away from me. Anybody else was as creeped out as I was watching that? That, man, somebody said that all birds are fake. I read that somewhere. I think it was in the comments of one of my videos. But nah, that bird right there, he might have picked up on something, or he might have been robotic.
That looks real to me.
Real?
AI.
I feel like that looked pretty realistic.
Nothing's off about it. I think the fall was pretty natural as well.
Nothing too dramatic happened.
Let me go ahead and give my verdict now. I think the clip looks real. Let's see which one is it. But let's find out.
When the man fell, his head was out of the water very fast rather than sinking down.
I'm gonna say real.
That one's AI.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm terrible at this.
This is not going well.
You don't even have to go to Africa.
Ooh, that looks AI to me because all the zebras were running like in a very ordered pattern.
AI, just because it was really unrealistic. That one's maybe AI as well. The zebras were moving kind of weirdly.
Oh no, yeah, it do look kind of AI, but maybe it's because they're zebra striped. I'm gonna go with real.
I think AI. It's too perfect for zebras to run that way. That's my opinion.
That's real.
Okay, wow.
I think that one's real as well. The language spoken, I don't think AI is very good at like doing languages.
I'm gonna say that's AI because when the bridge was leaning down, I didn't see any cracks and all that, and the water seemed very smooth.
I think that's real because I feel like the reactions were pretty real, and I feel like
She said the only reaction you're really getting is from the person that is recording the audio. But when you look at everything in this picture, how stuff looks wet, the reflections on stuff, it looks so freaking real. But the thing that's throwing me is these people that are on the bridge, as the bridge is going underwater and they're not budging. Like none of them. That gotta be AI. Gotta be.
you wouldn't really cover an AI video up. The umbrella covering the camera doesn't seem like something you'd put in an AI video.
And yet AI did it. Yeah.
Here's what I eat in a day with zero processed sugar here in Bali. For breakfast, I had this antioxidant-packed acai bowl.
Pause. Hold on. It looks so real. She looks pretty. Her cute little tattoo underneath her armpit area. The acai bowl looks real. But the acai bowl, look. From there, look. The acai bowl got less. There's less acai in this bowl from her taking a scoop to her putting the scoop up to her mouth. It's the same scoop, but there's less acai. But here's the kicker for me. Watch her tongue. Her tongue. Why would your tongue go out like that? Like you're a dog about to lick a water bowl. Watch this.
Bali. For breakfast, I had this antioxidant-packed acai bowl.
Wow.
It kind of looks like it's both.
I feel like in that last clip there, she was moving kind of weirdly. I'm gonna guess AI.
But I think that's AI.
I think that's real because the lighting was quite real too, like the surroundings.
That's AI because of the voice. Although influencers, they talk like that, I think it was too consistent.
That's AI.
What?
AI looks way too real though, man. They gonna fool a lot of people with that clip.
I would say real. The change in orientation of the camera was very realistic.
I was thinking real for a lot of it, but then the shark on the hull is throwing me off. So I'm thinking AI.
That's real because I feel like there was pretty accurate noises from the people on the boat. And I also feel like they wouldn't have put so much dirt on the front window if it was AI. That one I think was AI. It was just something about how the shark was moving. Did not look realistic.
That one's real.
Is it really? Oh my God.
Has that changed how you feel about your ability to tell AI from reality? It's very scary that I'm losing the ability to pick up on these things.
I'm not confident at all.
They're extremely realistic. The credibility of the internet in general is going to diminish.
Hopefully lots of people make more of those videos about like what to look for.
We're going down a very dangerous path.
I think it will make me a bit more careful, kind of trying to think about that kind of stuff while I'm on social media.
I'm gonna say this right now. I promise you, by the end or by the middle of 2026, AI is going to be so good that we won't be able to differentiate what's real from what's fake. And this next clip is an example of how real AI looks, because I thought it was real up until this moment.
Look at you, little guy. You really do look like a tiny Nessie. Those eyes are wild. Just cruising around like you own the tank.
Say bye.
Y'all tell me this thing don't look super real. Tell me, like, everything about this video. The fish tank looks real. The freaking Nessie, the Loch Ness monster, the mini Loch Ness monster with all his cuteness looks real. The way he put his head up out the water, the way he just slung his head all playfully and cute. Look, the way he opened up his mouth, look, he's looking all adorable. It looks so freaking real. The only thing that's throwing me off, though, is the hand back here of the person that's recording this little baby Nessie. The hand is off. What is he doing over here with his other hand? It's almost like he's supposed to be holding the phone steady, or have another phone on his head, or up against his ear, or recording with another device. It just doesn't add up in the background. They could have fixed that. They could have cleaned it up. But the rest of this clip, my God, does it look real? Holy crap. Check this clip out. This little creature here. Look at this. It's supposed to be like a baby dragon. It looks less real than the little Loch Ness monster that we just saw. But my God, look at this. The bokeh in the background, which is the blur of what's happening in the background, because the camera, which there is no camera because it's AI, is focused on the little creature here. The movements, the little flicker of the wings. It's like, why did they make the wings move and look in the way that they do? Look at this. Incredible. AI is getting too freaking good.
What do you think? Do y'all remember when this was caught on a drone, mermaids swimming in pods? Then they said it was dolphins because the video was getting too much recognition. Now it's hard to even find this video anywhere. There was so many of them, and they were swimming so fast. I try to slow it down as much as I can, but these are the pictures I got. If you look at the sequence, you will see these are not dolphins. I would have loved to be inside that boat. I wish he could tell his story. I know whoever driving that boat saw something. These are dolphins swimming in pods. Do you see the difference?
Huge difference from the first clip to the second clip. The first clip, I believe in mermaids, so I can't put it past those being a group of mermaids. But that second clip, clearly dolphins. Man. God, man, I want to see a mermaid so bad. I'll take a mermaid over an alien at this point. If y'all don't want to show me an alien, show me a freaking mermaid. I want to see a mermaid. I'm tired of y'all playing with me.
The rarest videos ever taken, part 2. Here's some extremely rare footage of a pilot flying straight into the eye of Hurricane Melissa. The eye forms when a hurricane becomes powerful enough to organize itself. A calm circular zone in the center where air actually sinks instead of rising. While the surrounding eye wall is a violent ring of wind and rain, the eye can be eerily clear and still, sometimes even letting sunlight through. This is the only known footage of the extremely rare box jellyfish known as Chirodectes. Captured off the coast of Papua New Guinea, this was only the second ever sighting of the species in recorded history. Draining glyphosate into a container looks like a glitch in the matrix, but it's actually a laminar flow effect, where the liquid moves so smoothly it appears frozen in place. Here's some extremely rare footage of a snow leopard caught on a trail cam in the wild. These elusive predators are known as the ghosts of the mountains for a reason. So few humans ever catch a glimpse of them that even wildlife experts can spend years tracking one without success. They live high in the remote peaks of Central Asia, blending in perfectly with the jagged, icy terrain, where temperatures often plummet below zero and oxygen is scarce. Their thick spotted coats act as camouflage against the rocks and snow, making them nearly invisible even when they're just a few feet away. Here are some morbid facts about Halloween. At his 2011 Halloween party, Neil Patrick Harris served a cake designed to look like the rotting corpse of Amy Winehouse, complete with a mangled face, matted hair, blood red frosting, a cigarette hanging from its mouth, and a tag reading, "The corpse of Amy Winehouse." The photo resurfaced years later and drew massive backlash, especially since Winehouse had died from alcohol poisoning just 3 months before the party. Harris later apologized, calling it a regrettable choice. Many animal shelters refuse to let black cats be adopted around Halloween time, fearing they'll be tortured, sacrificed, or used as props in satanic rituals. Legendary illusionist Harry Houdini died on Halloween night in 1926 after his appendix burst, reportedly triggered when a fan punched him to test his strength. Before his death, he promised his wife he'd try to contact her from beyond the grave every Halloween, sparking seances that still continue to this day. In 1990, 32-year-old magician Joe Burris tried to outdo Houdini by being buried alive in a plexiglass coffin under 7 tons of dirt and cement. But the coffin collapsed instantly, crushing him to death on Halloween night, just like his idol. Statistically, Halloween is the deadliest day of the year for child pedestrians by far. Kids are 3 times more likely to be hit by a car while trick-or-treating than any other day of the year. 8-year-old Timothy Bryan died on Halloween night in 1974 after eating cyanide-laced candy given to him by his own father, who hoped to cash in on his life insurance policy. The Candyman case sparked the nationwide panic about poisoned Halloween candy, but it was the only true case of it happening ever recorded. In dozens of states, registered sex offenders are required by law to keep their porch lights off, avoid Halloween decorations, and have no contact with children on Halloween. Some cities even enforce curfews and random compliance checks on Halloween night. On an October night in 1997, students at Cornell University woke up to find a pumpkin impaled on the tip of the 173-foot spire of McGraw Tower. No one saw it placed there, no ropes, cranes, or ladders were ever found, and no one took credit. The pumpkin stayed perched for months, slowly rotting through the winter before being removed in March, an incredible Halloween mystery that remains unsolved to this day.
What? These are all things I ain't never heard of as far as my birthday. Look, well, I knew about the Houdini and the Houdini wannabe that both passed away on my birthday, Halloween. But man, like, I didn't know pedestrian kids trick-or-treating get hit by cars are more likely to get hit by a car. It makes sense because so many kids walk around in the street trying to do some trick-or-treating. God, man, that negative connotation attached to my birthday. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I promise y'all, I'm not evil. Oh, man, there's been so many people that steered clear of me growing up because my birthday was on Halloween and they thought that meant that I was like devil's child or born evil or something. That junk used to irritate my soul. I'm like, look, I'm the sweetest baby you ever met. But let's end this video off on a positive note.
Get off of the cell phone, get off the fucking internet, be a person and learn how to love yourself so that way we can end this cycle of destruction, we can end this cycle of hate. There will be more love in the streets, more genuine love, more genuine care for people. You can't care for someone if you don't love yourself. You're not supposed to be alone and then start hating yourself, bro. You're supposed to see things about yourself and change it. That's what it is. You have to change it. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds fucking hard. I know it sounds tiring. But it's better than really being a fucking, like, a drone and basically only living in anger and hate and living in regret. Like, don't live in regret. There's no point in living in regret. Take advantage of time. It's not always in your favor. Take advantage of time.
Wise words from such a young man who passed at such a young age. He was only like 21 when he passed away. But man, he was so full of wisdom. So full of wisdom. And those are words that any and every last one of us could live by. Leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. See ya.